Billboard always does the Song of the Summer chart. And depending on the year, it's either a close race, it's really exciting, or something is just so massive. There's obviously a Song of the Summer. Some years there's not a Song of the Summer. We'll get to that. There's a famous year that really didn't have a Song of the Summer. You could argue it did, but it really didn't. We'll explain that in a second. I remember my first summer at Billboard. That's where I started in the music industry. 2017, it was Despacito, and it was so obviously Despacito. One of the first real true streaming hits where we didn't even know what we were looking at. We couldn't believe a 17-week number one. It was, because you got to remember, in 1995, you have One Sweet Day, Mariah Carey, Boyz II Men. Two of the biggest, if not the two biggest, best-selling acts of the 90s in terms of popular music, coming together on a duet that was written by Mariah Carey, Michael McCary, Nathan Morris, Wayne Morris, Sean Stockman. So they wrote it. Wow. They wrote that song. There's nobody else. Can you imagine that? The artists wrote the song. That happens today sometimes, but there's a lot of songwriters now in the game, and great ones at that. That's incredible. But anyways, 1995, 1996, One Sweet Day, Mariah Carey, Boyz II Men becomes the longest running number one song at number one for consecutive weeks in Billboard history. That's 1996. That stays until 2017, so 21 years. It's pretty incredible. 2017, Despacito breaks it. Then eventually, 2 years later, it's the whole problem with streaming. And we talked about it all last week with diamond certifications. They need new rules. They can't call it the same thing. It shouldn't take a record 21 years to be broken. And then that record gets broken in 2 years. That's weird to me. So anyways, I'm saying in 2017, Despacito breaks the record. And then in 2019, Lil Nas X with Old Town Road breaks that record. But in 2017, Song of the Summer, Despacito. 2018, I'm pretty sure it's In My Feelings by Drake. 2019, it's Old Town Road. 2020, it's Lil Baby. No, sorry, not Lil Baby. Da Baby and Roddy Ricch, right? With Rockstar. I think that's who did Rockstar. Da Baby was on it. 2021, let's look this up. Billboard Songs of the Summer, past years. Let's see. Wow. All right, this is Billboard's greatest of all time songs of the summer. Billboard's greatest songs of the summer of all. How do you say this? Billboard's greatest of all time songs of the summer. I'm going to give you the top 10. At number 10, When Doves Cry, Prince. At number 9, I Just Want to Be Your Everything, Andy Gibb. At number 8, 2005, We Belong Together. At number 7, The Police, Every Breath You Take, which then became a big hit in 1997 with Mr. P. Diddy. At number 6, 2019, Old Town Road, Lil Nas X featuring Billy Ray Cyrus. At number 5, just talked about this, 2017, Despacito, Luis Fonsi, Daddy Yankee, and Justin Bieber. Number 4, summer 2013, Blurred Lines, Robin Thicke. Number 3, Tossin' and Turnin', Bobby Lewis. At number 2, The Boy Is Mine, Brandy and Monica. And at number 1, wow, Puff Daddy, Faith Evans, 112, I'll Be Missing You. So that song, Sting, Every Breath You Take, makes 2 appearances in this top 10. I apologize, guys. Something is getting down my throat right now. Getting back to that Sabrina Carpenter point, how I was saying earlier that she has completely flipped the script on the voice of a leading female pop star in terms of their relationship with their love interest counterpart. Think about The Boy Is Mine. Big pop hit, summer 1998. The whole song is about a guy who's dating 2 women and cheating on each other. And the moral of that story isn't, yo, F this guy. The moral of that story is, no, he's my man. So think about how far we've come from that. I think that's incredible. That is a shift in culture, guys. That is a shift. To go from a song like The Boy Is Mine, where the dude is not the villain, to now a song of the summer in 2025 might be called Manchild. I think that's a big deal. So those are the top 10 Billboard songs of all time. I don't even know. Oh, yeah, I forgot. I got to remember to share the screen, guys. But you get the idea. So let's look at this year's Song of the Summer chart. Now, just so you know how this works, this is going to get updated every week. So this is what it looks like now. It might not look like this at the end of the summer. At number 1 is Ordinary, Alex Warren, which is a song we're going to talk about in a little bit because we have to talk about this. This is the number 1 song in the country right now. Alex Warren, Ordinary, number 1 song in the country. Might be the number 1 song in the world. I have a lot of questions. Number 2, I feel like I'm having an allergic reaction or something. I really apologize for all the coughing. What I Want, Morgan Wallen, featuring Tate McRae. That was number 1 last week. We'll see. I don't know if I've heard that song. Have you guys heard that song like in the wild? Just In Case, Morgan Wallen. I'm the Problem, Morgan Wallen. Luther, Kendrick Lamar, and SZA. That's not going to be Song of the Summer. That was the Song of the Winter. That's losing steam actively. It's number 5 right now, but it's not gonna be Song of the Summer. Die With a Smile, not gonna be Song of the Summer. Too old. Came out too early. Not a knock on Gaga or Bruno, just like that wasn't even the point of that song. The point of that song was probably a Grammy look, which they got. Not the Song of the Summer. It's not gonna be the Song of the Summer. Nokia Drake, I think this song has already peaked. I don't think that's gonna be the Song of the Summer. Anxiety Doechii, I feel like that song has already peaked. I don't think that's gonna be Song of the Summer. Pink Pony Club, Chapel Roan, that was last summer, dude. Love Somebody, Morgan Wallen. I don't think Morgan Wallen's going to have the Song of the Summer. I just don't. I Got Better, Morgan Wallen. A lot of Morgan Wallen. I Ain't Coming Back, Morgan Wallen. Mutt, Leon Thomas. Great song. Love this song. Big radio hit in the U.S. Not going to be Song of the Summer. Big X The Plug, Bailey Zimmerman, All the Way. Not going to be Song of the Summer. The Song of the Summer is not going to be a niche. And not that's niche. They're both big artists. But it's not going to be a country hit. You're not gonna play that. The Song of the Summer has to be in power rotation on pop stations in the United States. And that song's not going to be in power rotation on pop stations in the United States. Superman, Morgan Wallen, not going to happen. Apartment, I think that's how I say that, APT. Rose and Bruno Mars, not going to be. Too old. 20 Cigarettes, not going to be. Blue Strips, very catchy song. Probably going to be the big breakthrough song for Jesse Murph. Not going to be Song of the Summer. Sports Car, not going to be Song of the Summer. Tate McRae. Riley Green, not going to be Song of the Summer. Wow, and that's it. So then that leaves you with a question of what is going to be the Song of the Summer? What is going to be Song of the Summer? Thinking about that. It's already June. So the likelihood that it's out already is big. Now, I'm wondering if I can go to charts and look at radio songs. Oh, but they're going to say, oh, that's really annoying. This is going to be behind a paywall? Yeah, it's annoying. Sorry, Billboard. I think Billboard alumni should just get stuff for free. Is the Hot 100 behind a paywall? Because at least this will give us an idea of some songs coming up the pike, as they say. Yeah, so look at this. Like Beautiful Things, Too Old to be Song of the Summer, Lose Control, Too Old. Also, how weird is music right now? How weird is music where the Billboard Top 10 has a bar song, Shabuzi, from last summer, Die With a Smile, 6 months old, Lose Control, Teddy Swims, that's 2 years old, Beautiful Things, Benson Boone, last summer, all still in the top 10, bro. Is that good for music? Anxiety Doechii, I just don't think that's going to be Song of the Summer. Birds of a Feather, that's been out. Billie Eilish, I Had Some Help, Too Old. That was last summer. Was that not last summer? I Had Some Help. Let's see. Espresso last summer is still number 21 on the Billboard Hot 100. Messy already peaked by Lola Young. That's not going to be Song of the Summer. Timeless is not going to be Song of the Summer. Look, Sombr, Undressed, that's the first one where I go maybe. That jumped 20 spots in a week. But he needs a moment. And it's like, what cultural events are happening between now and the fall? VMAs are you're not going to have a Song of the Summer moment at the VMAs. They happen in September. You need something to happen. Like at Lolla. Who's playing Lollapalooza this year? Let's look up this lineup. Because you need a moment like that. Okay, so Tyler, the Creator, Luke Combs headlining. Olivia Rodrigo is headlining. Now, does Olivia come in with a song? Are we expecting new music from Olivia Rodrigo? That could be interesting. Korn. Not going to be Korn. Fucking love Korn. Not going to be Korn. Rufus Du Sol, no. Twice, no. Sabrina Carpenter is headlining Lollapalooza. That's pretty interesting when you think about Manchild. Because there's nobody else really on here that has a contender. The dark horse candidate for Song of the Summer is Lola Young, One Thing. That song is great. Where is that on the Hot 100 right now? Let's check this out. It's not even on the Hot 100? Really? Does Addison Rae have any songs in the Hot 100? Addison Rae doesn't have any songs in the Hot 100? It's weird. It's weird. Sombr's a huge star, by the way. To jump 20 spots in a week with a song called Undressed, that's a big deal. Only 8 weeks on the Hot 100. Sombr, already at number 29, going from 49 to 29 in a week. Okay? So watch that one. Then, just a couple spots back, 7 spots back, Sombr, Back to Friends, great song. That jumped from 62 to 36. Sombr is another one. You know when you watch a horse race and you see that horse just making ground on the outside little by little? That might be Sombr. So Sombr's in the conversation. Love Me Not, Raven Lene, definitely in the conversation. That jumped from number 59 last week to 37. That's officially top 40, and what a great song. And that's a song where the sounds of that song, the musicality of that song, that's going to speak to multiple generations. Because it sounds vintage. If you know that song, Love Me Not, has a TikTok trend already. But I don't know if that's going to be Song of the Summer. Manchild's very interesting as a candidate for Song of the Summer. One Thing, Lola Young, if that catches some steam, I think that could be big. It's a little unorthodox in terms of its composition and arrangement. I love that about it. But to reach the amount of people you need to be Song of the Summer, I don't know. I'm going down the list here. Hopefully you guys are watching and following along. I don't think it's going to be this Alex Warren guy. And I don't even, this is all just Morgan Wallen, man. Yeah, nothing's really. MGK debuted at number 62 this week. I thought that would have been a little higher, but if he starts getting like radio behind him, that's an interesting song. But again, Song of the Summer just seems so, you need a moment. You need a moment to happen for your song. And I think Sabrina Carpenter is very well positioned to have that moment. Get Manchild going for a month, maybe 2, and then she does something at Lola. Manchild could be the Song of the Summer. And summer's always a time where like you're single. I don't know. I feel like I'm always single, or I was always single in the summer. You're dating. People are going to be going through issues with stupid men. They're going to be coming home playing that song, Manchild. A lot of TikToks to that song. All right. Are we going to make a prediction right now? I think the Song of the Summer is a 4-song race. Number 1 has to be, out of respect, Alex Warren, Ordinary. I don't think that's a summer vibe. Not to say that it has to be like the criteria for a Song of the Summer. That's number 1. The other 3 candidates for Song of the Summer, Sabrina Carpenter, Manchild, given the Lollapalooza headliner spot. Both of these Sombr songs, okay, they're coming up. That's 3 and 4 for candidates. And number 5 is if we get a song from Olivia Rodrigo, which I have to imagine we are. Why is she headlining Lollapalooza? And forgive me if I'm out of the loop. But I think those are the contenders. Those are your 5 songs that come Labor Day, we can look back at this segment, back at this video, back at this episode and go, one of those went out. I don't think anybody else has a shot. I really don't. No disrespect to anybody. But I think that's what we're looking at right now for Song of